The sun was sinking behind the rows of small houses on the edge of town when a little boy stood barefoot on the sidewalk, clutching a dusty old bicycle. His clothes were worn, his hair messy, and his eyes, big, tired, and full of worry, watched every person who passed. Most people avoided eye contact. Some crossed the street. Others just pretended they didn't see him at all, but the boy didn't give up. He kept whispering, "Please, someone buy my bike." His voice cracked each time, like he was fighting tears. And then he said something that made one man stop in his tracks. "Sir, please buy my bike. Mommy hasn't eaten in 2 days." For a moment, time froze. And that was the moment everything changed. Before we begin the full story, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment to support our channel, True Story Tales. Your engagement helps us continue bringing real, emotional stories that inspire kindness and hope. It was a warm Saturday afternoon when the Rolling Phoenix Biker Club roared into the small town of Glenwood. They weren't the scary type of bikers people imagine. These were rescue ride volunteers, known for showing up at charity events and helping struggling families. The group stopped near a convenience store to grab cold drinks before continuing their ride. As they parked, laughing and teasing each other, one of the bikers, Jax, a tall man with a rough beard but gentle eyes, noticed a kid standing alone across the street with a bike that looked too small for his age. The boy stared at the group with a mix of fear and hope, like he couldn't decide whether to approach them or run away. Something about that look tugged at Jax's heart. "Hold up," he told the others. "That kid's in trouble." Jax crossed the street slowly so he wouldn't scare the boy. When he got close, the boy stepped back, gripping the handlebars tightly. "Hey there, buddy," Jax said softly. "You selling that bike?" The boy swallowed hard. "Yes, sir." Jax crouched down so they were eye level. "Why do you want to sell it?" The boy blinked several times, and his lips trembled. "My mom hasn't eaten in 2 days," he whispered. We don't have anything left. Please buy it. I don't need it anymore." Jax felt something tighten in his chest. A kid his age should be riding bikes, not selling them to feed his mother. "What's your name?" Jax asked. "Evan," he whispered. "Well, Evan, how about you tell me what's going on?" The boy hesitated. He looked down at his bare feet, as if embarrassed. His voice dropped even lower. "Someone took all our things." Jax frowned. "Someone?" Evan nodded, wiping his nose with his sleeve. "Mom said not to tell anyone, but I'm scared. And hungry. And she's sick." Jax didn't need more convincing. He signaled the others. Within seconds, all 12 bikers surrounded the kid, not in a threatening way, but like a circle of protection. "Evan," Jax said gently, "can we walk you home?" The boy hesitated again, then nodded. Evan led them down 2 blocks to a small, rundown house. The front yard was overgrown, the windows taped with cardboard, and the door looked like it barely hung on its hinges. When they stepped inside, the bikers froze. There was almost nothing left, and no table. No chairs. No couch. No appliances. Just empty spaces where things used to be. And then they saw her, Evan's mother, Kara, sitting on a thin blanket on the floor. She looked pale, weak, and exhausted. But when she saw her son walk in with the bikers, she panicked. "Evan, no, sweetheart, what did you do?" she cried. Struggling to stand, he rushed to her. "Mom, I'm sorry, but you need food." Kara nearly collapsed, but Jax caught her before she hit the ground. "Ma'am, we're here to help," he said firmly. She shook her head, tears streaming down her cheeks. "You don't understand. We can't let anyone help. He'll come back." "Who?" Jax asked sharply. She hesitated, then broke. "My ex-husband," she whispered. "He took everything. The furniture, the food, even the electricity deposit. He said if I asked anyone for help, he'd take Evan away from me." The bikers exchanged looks. Angry, disgusted looks. "He left us with nothing," Kara continued. "I've been trying to find work, but without a phone, without transportation," she covered her face in shame. "I didn't want Evan to know how bad it was." Evan wrapped his arms around her. "Mom, I know. And I'm scared too." The room fell silent. The kind of silence that changes people. Then Jack stood up and turned to the group. "We're fixing this. Today." The bikers split into groups instantly. Some went to buy groceries. Real groceries, not cheap canned stuff. Fresh bread, fruit, vegetables, chicken, milk, everything a family should have. Others bought blankets, pillows, toiletries, and cleaning supplies. Point two bikers headed to a local furniture store, explained the situation, and within minutes, the store owner agreed to donate a used sofa, a table, and a couple of mattresses. Meanwhile, Jack stayed with Kara, making sure she drank water and ate a granola bar. Evan sat beside her, smiling for the first time in days. "Why are you helping us?" Kara asked quietly. "Because someone needs to," Jax replied. "And because your son had the courage to ask for help. You raised a brave kid." Evan looked away shyly, but pride flickered in his eyes. As the bikers came back one by one, the empty house transformed. Groceries filled the kitchen. Pillows and blankets made the rooms warm again. The new table stood proudly in the living room. Kara cried silently as each item came through the door, but the biggest surprise came when one of the bikers rolled in a brand new kid's bicycle, shiny and red. Evan gasped. "For me?" "Yep," the biker grinned. "We don't want you selling your bike ever again." Evan threw his arms around the man, hugging him tight, but the story didn't end there. Not by a long shot. Later that afternoon, a loud truck pulled up. A man with angry eyes and a beer can in his hand stomped toward the house. Jack stepped outside immediately, and the other bikers formed a wall behind him. "What's going on here?" the man growled. "This is my house too." Kara froze. Evan hid behind Jack's. "Not anymore," said one biker firmly. "You don't live here." "You can't tell me that," the man barked. "She's my wife." "Ex-wife," Kara said from behind the bikers, her voice trembling but stronger than before. "And you're not welcome here." The man pointed at the bikers. "You called these freaks to intimidate me?" Jack stepped closer, his voice calm but unshakable. "No, she didn't call us. Her son asked for help. And we don't tolerate men who threaten families." The man's face turned red, and he raised his hand as if to strike Kara, but he never got the chance. The bikers moved so fast, it was like a single motion. One grabbed his arm. Another calmly removed the beer can. A third snapped a photo of his license plate. "You try anything," Jack said, "and the police will be here before you blink." The man looked around, realizing he was outnumbered and outmatched. Not by force, but by unity. He spat on the ground, muttered curses, and stormed back to his truck. The engine roared, and he sped away. Kara sank to her knees, sobbing with relief. "It's over," Jack said gently. "He's not coming back today. And tomorrow, we'll help you file a protection order." Kara nodded, finally letting herself believe she was safe. As the sun set, the bikers shared a meal with Kara and Evan. Simple sandwiches and fresh fruit. But to them, it felt like a feast. Evan sat between Jax and his mother, laughing softly at the bikers' jokes. The fear in his eyes had faded, replaced with warmth and hope. Before leaving, the bikers made Kara a promise. They would return tomorrow with a prepaid phone, ride her to job interviews, and make sure she and Evan never felt alone again. Kara hugged each biker like they were family. "I don't know how to thank you," she whispered. "You already did," Jack said. "You survived. You protected your son. We're just filling the gaps." That night, as Evan rode his new bike in the driveway, the neighbors peeked out their windows, amazed at what they were seeing. Some came over with food. Others offered clothes and school supplies. Kindness is contagious, and Evan's courage lit a spark across the whole street. Kara stood in the doorway, smiling through tears. For the first time in a long time, she felt safe. She felt supported. She felt seen. And Evan, well, he wasn't just a scared little boy anymore. He was a kid who learned that even in the darkest moments, there are good people. People who care. Kindness doesn't need permission. It doesn't wait for the perfect moment. It steps in exactly when someone needs it. A boy tried to sell his bike to feed his mom, and instead found a family of strangers who refused to let him struggle alone. This story reminds us that one small act of courage can inspire a chain of kindness bigger than we ever imagined. That if you ever get the chance to help someone, do it. You never know how many lives you might change. Be kind. Spread hope. And remember, someone out there needs exactly the kindness you're capable of giving.